I would like to turn to the Chair of the Budget, Finance, and Innovation Committee, Councilmember Blumenfield, for his recommendations on those items. Thank you.
Right. For items 17 through 22, we heard those in Budget Committee. I do not see the need for us to...
Excuse me, sir, you'll need to be quiet and sit down. You'll need to sit down and be quiet. I've warned you. You're ordered removed from this meeting. Please leave the meeting immediately and silently. Please leave the room silently and immediately right now. Right now. You're interrupting the meeting, sir, and you're not only disrupting, you are delaying the progress of this meeting. You'll need to leave, and I mean now. Rob Kwan, you're ordered to sit and be silent and not disrupt this meeting. That's your only warning. Leave the meeting immediately. Leave the meeting immediately. I apologize, Mr. Blumenfield, for the disruption and the delay of our work.
And just for the record, the gentleman who's still interrupting the meeting and refusing to leave is General Dogon.
He's doing that for the public. Yeah. Yeah, no, to get your comments in and then disrupt it.
All right. Mr. Blumenfield,
Okay,
please start again.
I know you were hanging on my every word. I was merely saying that items 17 through 22.
Eric Walter, general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute.
I thank you for the opportunity. My name is Eric Walter. I'm a longtime customer of NoHo Printing, owned by Carlos Pena. 20 months ago, his business was destroyed by the LAPD and the SWAT team and the U.S. Marshal. The U.S. Marshal gave him compensation opportunities to get compensated. It was denied. It was told it was the LAPD's fault. Later on, that was denied. It was appealed to city attorney. It was denied. A judge ruled and denied it as well. There's no debate that the police acted in good faith. We have no quibbles with that. What we think and hope for is, why does this have to be a legal matter? Cannot this be resolved in other ways? There must be funds from the LAPD, the U.S. Marshal, and the city of LA to take care of this. He's an immigrant from El Salvador. He's living the American dream, and now it's become an American nightmare. He can't provide for his family anymore. He has no opportunity for any other income. And I'd like to speak to someone else to follow up on a couple of details. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Sir, if you could just step over to the side, I'm going to have a staff member come and talk to you about that.
Good morning. DanielGuss.substack.com. All items in general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items. Thank you.
Great. Council members, hello, how are you? For identification purposes only, I am not Daniel Guss, the orthopedic surgeon. I am Daniel Guss, the LA Press Club's online journalist of the year.
I'm sorry. Mr. Guss, speak to the agenda, please.
I'm using my time to make sure there's no confusion.
You can say that on general public comment. Speak to the agenda.
Mr. City Attorney, I have a right to identify myself.
Speak to the agenda.
Yes, and you have identified yourself. You can continue this during general public comment if you'd like.
And I will re-identify myself.
Agenda.
I will re-identify myself as I deem appropriate. Council members, the REAP program is fantastic. The REAP program is what government should be. When there's a landlord who is taking advantage of individuals, this program holds them accountable until and unless they get their act together. I applaud every single one of the 15 of you. Hugo, John, Kevin, Bob, all of you deserve praise for the rent escrow account program because it helps tenants against landlords who are not playing by the rules. So anybody on these various REAP items, anybody who thinks that I'm not willing to heap praise where it's due, should remember these comments. REAP is one of the best things this city does. Congratulations every time you do that. That's why I'm the LA Press Club's online journalist of the year, because I call it like I see it. REAP works, and I'll always applaud it, even if we disagree on other things. The same way I could say that Mr. Price is actually one of the most likable guys on city council on an interpersonal basis. REAP works. I will hand out praise whenever it's due, and I am Daniel Guss of danielguss.substack.com. In a minute, I'm going to move on to my general. Are we on to general yet, or we still have 1 minute left?
You still are on the items, but you can move to general if you'd like.
No, I don't want to move to general yet, because you cut me off the other day. Item number 23, council members. I should reach out to Mr. Willett's attorney, because a court was ordered to retrofit the City Hall press room, and you haven't done it. So if Mr. Willett's attorneys are here, they can reach out to danielguss.substack.com, or I may reach out to you, because you have a wealth of failed accommodations that you were ordered to provide on the press room, and I suspect that it's because of my exposés about this corrupt government. And Mr. Willits, congratulations on however this is resolved. But to his attorneys, reach out to me. Reach out to me, because I've had a couple spinal surgeries, and the city was ordered to make retrofits to this building, and they haven't done it yet. If I don't hear from you, I may reach out to you, danielguss.substack.com. Hello to my friends at the Smoke and Scan as I go into my general public comment.
General public comment?
danielguss.substack.com. Council members, can you tell me, when PETA showed up here a couple of weeks ago, how come the LAPD didn't let them in for space, even though there are photos of rows of empty seats? You are censoring individuals, you censored PETA, and that's why this is a corrupt government. Give people with a grievance the chance to come here and talk to you without keeping them out when you have empty seats. I'm telling you, you're gonna get sued over the way Zoom lowers people's hands. I may be a lead plaintiff. You need to find out why Zoom is lowering hands. Because I have a story this week at danielguss.substack.com about Larry Gross, your Animal Services Commission president, losing a defamation suit, and now he's gonna have to pay for the legal fees of one of your best animal services volunteers. And by the way, I have accused Katie Kepner of the fire department of making homicidal, suicidal threats. Where are you guys during Women's Month? Where are you, David Zonizer?
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
There's a lot of chatter right now, so I was wondering if the chair could get a hold of the meeting.
So your time to speak on the agenda is now, Mr. Kwan, if you'd like to speak on the agenda.
I'd like to speak on all items in general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the item.
I appreciate the chair allowing all these disruptions. I hope that continues. And on these
Speak to the
agenda
agenda.
items, I'd like to know, Grote, do you feel okay with a council member voting on these items if they haven't filled out their Form 700? Does that make you feel uneasy because you and I can't determine whether or not they have a conflict of interest? I'm just wondering, because the due date for your Form 700s was on Tuesday, and yesterday I asked for them all, and one of our council members did not turn theirs in. So I'm feeling merciful, and I'm just going to say, if you get it in this afternoon, we'll forget about it. Otherwise, I might just try to pull all the Form 700s for all your senior staff and try to do an audit and see who else is fucking up. Your choice, your choice. I also just want to remind everybody for my general public comment, before anybody gets grumpy.
Okay, general public comment.
It has been 253 days that our council president has failed to abide by his charter requirement to appoint someone to the Ethics Commission. That's there for good reason, Paul, to ensure that there's no horse trading, to ensure there's no politicization. Speaking of the rampant corruption that runs around this horseshoe, it has been 1,584 days since this goddamn council did a single thing to address a single aspect of corruption in this city. 4 members indicted since then. Look at the way Paul's tapping his hand down there. He really doesn't like it. Well, do something about it, bro. It's been a year and a half, over a year and a half, and you haven't brought up charter ethics reform. You think you hate me now? Give it a few weeks. I've got a lot of fun in store for you. Have a nice weekend. Maybe schedule ethics charter reform and we can have a fun time.
Next speaker.
All right, so 13, 14, 15 are all REAP items. That doesn't do a lot. It just basically, does some, basically gets some REAP, but it doesn't really help unhoused people. It's just, it puts some money into a into a bank and, to pay for repairs that the landlord's refusing to do, and then does a, then puts a, then you go in and put it in the, but then it just all goes to the landlord, all the money, after that. And it's not helping them, maybe if the building's in so much disrepair, they could waive rent for a while, since clearly it's not up to the value that they're being charged for it. So yeah, let's see. We have item 16 related from Blumenfield and the indicted one over there, Price, for street takeovers. Is really doing the priorities right now. What's being passed out? Because the council members shouldn't be distracted with that right now. We have, so it's street takeovers. So no on that. Don't need money done towards that. I guess it's like some kind of, motion supporting something in the assembly, but let's not do that. All right, let's go on to general comment.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
We got Paul up there. Are you all okay with this guy running the meeting? Paul is, currently about to be under ethics investigation probably for his continuous rampant campaigning for Adrian Nazarian using his official position as council president. He put out a press release using his council office press release endorsing Adrian Nazarian for city council. He's not taking it down. He's just, and he's continued. He brought Adrian Nazarian to the city hall a couple weeks ago. He keeps campaigning for Adrian Nazarian using his position as council president. And all of you seem to be okay with that, since we haven't seen since he still refuses to resign. We haven't seen the motion to remove him yet. Where is that? You also just apparently are okay with this guy running the meeting for some reason and just continuing to be a council president. KDL needs to resign.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. And as our next speaker is coming forward, I'd like to call out a couple of other names. Somebody who signed up as Miss Karen, as well as Ricondal W. And those are the only people that I have who have signed up here in the chambers. Ms. Richardson, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Please begin.
Since about 20 years ago or more, jobs for black men have eroded. One of the reasons may be this situation. This Mexican man asked this black man, "Why are you messing with my girl?" Said, "Messing with your girl? She came after me. I didn't go after her." Since that time, black jobs have eroded. They don't want us working with them because we're angry. We are so angry. They say we're so angry, working with one of us is like working with a battleship, and they don't want to touch any of us. One problem may be because we don't have eat enough food. That may be a problem. Another problem may be because we don't have enough food. Instead of doing the whole job, we do half of the job. The jobs are not available to us because of race relationships. We don't leave their women alone, and because we're angry.
Speaker, your time has
Thank
expired.
you very much. Thank you. Have a good day.
14 with LAHD. 现在在网络视频上很多这些特别的那些车呀，那些非法的赛车呀，把这些每一个路上的街口啊、红绿灯啊，马上他们都把他们完全的霸占。所以说，我认为就是这个第14项，我们一定要加强洛杉矶警察局在每一个路口设置红绿灯，设置那些摄像头。所以说，让这些人每一次他们做了这些事情，所以说他们可以得到严惩。所以说可以让洛杉矶的每一条街道变得更平安。So now let's move on to number 23. it is about the American with Disability Act, and it is about the sidewalk. I really have a concern about the American with Disability Act because in several different, I don't know if it's a Los Angeles public property or is that a private property, in several instances that I want to use the elevator, but the elevator is not there. In several instances that where I want to use the elevator, but the elevator is out of service. So I do believe there's a huge violation of American with Disability Act in the city of LA, not only in city of LA, but in certain the bus stop, metro bus stop within the city of LA. And then there are certain instances that when the LA DOT bus running inside of city LA, where their ramp is not working, they have to pass up on the wheelchair. So that is a huge violation of the American with Disability Act. I'm very concerned about that. Now let's move on to number 16, which is my favorite, the street takeover. So the number 16 is, well, it is really, I'm not surprised with this criminal street takeover because there's no consequence. So right now, it doesn't matter if it's a street takeover or it's a looting, rioting, raping, killing, whatever kind of criminal activity, there's no consequence, very little consequence. So that's the reason why that those street takeover will occur over and over again. Now we lost 1,300 LAPD officers. If we have those 1,300 LAPD officers, we can put them in every street of the corner inside the city of LA. And then if we have more LAPD in the major intersection of the LAPD, I guarantee you there will be no more street takeover if we see LAPD right there. Now let's move on to public comment.
General public comment.
So right now, we are talking about street takeover. We're going to the Figueroa Street. I see those prostitute takeover. When I see the shopping mall, I see the looter takeover. When I see the, on the airport, I see those illegal protest takeover. So right now, and then in the city hall right here, I see the corruption takeover. And then when I see my council member Hernandez, I see the overweight takeover. So right now, everything I see right here is a takeover, and then we are talking about systemic racism. Why LAPD are not enforce the law when the suspect is black? Why when LAPD is afraid to enforce the law? Why instead of handcuff the criminal, why we handcuff the LAPD? So instead of protecting the citizen, why we are giving second chance to the criminal? Because I know the victim will never have a second chance, but right now we are giving third chance to the criminal.
Speaker, your time has expired.
Next speaker, please.
Good morning. So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
Yes, thank you. Is it Buckethead? Pumpkinhead.
Speak to the agenda item or go to general public comment.
I'm trying. Jesus. Number fucking 14. CD fucking 13. See what I have to fucking do to fucking talk, Hugo, on this fucking item on fucking West fucking Bellevue fucking Avenue. Fucking ID number 5 fucking 4 fucking 0 fucking 1 fucking dash fucking 0 fucking 2 fucking 2 dash fucking 0 fucking 1 fucking 6. Fucking approve the fucking LHD fucking recommendation fucking dated fucking March fucking 27 fucking 2020 fucking 4. I'll play your fucking game. So we're just here to say a good job. That's why the puppet wanted to say. Go ahead. You're doing a good job on this item, Hugo. Now clean up the encampment underneath the 101 freeway next to it. Then we get to number 15. That's right. The person who looks like Dave Chappelle on number 15, if he had a real head of hair, that is. And thank you to Harris Marchese Dawson Dildo for getting rid of this program on West 22nd Street, a certified shithole. Kevin one time tried to go down there, but he had nowhere to park. Not because there were not parking spaces, but because if he parked, he'd lose all the rims on his car. It's a real shithole down there. Aren't you glad the rest of you don't have to represent that fucking shithole? I think you should pay people to live on that street. I wouldn't live there. and I'm sure Pumpkinhead would never go down there if he had to serve papers. Jesus, what a fucking shithole on that item. And then we get to the street takeovers. Rum, rum. It's time for Dodger baseball on the streets. Yes, as we do wheelies. This is what Eunices calls social interaction. She likes it when people get together and modify their mufflers on their cars and do donuts. This is what young people do. And then they go on the internet and they post it. And then John Lee calls the police and they say, fuck you, Staffer B, you're going to prison. I'm not going to go up there and start that takeover. But how come Kevin calls the police and they go to his district and stop the street takeovers on the 6th Street Bridge? How come? Because they know he's dangerous. Yes, he's dangerous, yes. And how about the rest of you? When are you going to start your takeovers, Imelda, over there on Burbank Boulevard in Woodley? You're not doing anything about it. And then
General
we get
public
to
comment?
today's comment. Yes, Tracy Park has brought another ugly jacket into these chambers. Let's give her a hand. It's important because Katie Yaroslavsky was leading the race on the most ugliest jackets by council members. Now, Park is ahead by 1. That's why she walked out in shame. Jesus Christ, that ugly red jacket with that pretty black outfit. Yesterday, an ugly green jacket with a black outfit. Do any of you have any fashion sense? How about Imelda? Give her some fashion sense. Jesus Christ. And then, of course, we have the elections going on. And then we have a scandal by Buckethead. Pat McOsker. Did you know he has a house in his district filled with trash and he doesn't do a goddamn fucking thing about it? Shame on Buckethead. Oh, here's Tracy back here. Get rid of that jacket, Tracy. Donate it to the 99-cent store.
Speaking
Next
of time has
speaker,
expired.
please.
Good morning.
My name is Rick.
And which items would you like to speak to?
I would like to talk about Proposition 1 and someone who I have on videotape. His name is Kevin DeLeon. With Proposition 1, they came to a building and discussed me. How can I be in an hour video and you got 10 minutes of me? And Mr. Kevin DeLeon and the chief that was there, the public should know what's going on. This is a secret meeting. I got it on video, how they were talking about me and also downtown Skid Row. Y'all can't see it yet, but there's some people that want to see it. Mr. Kevin DeLeon, I asked him one day, when I saw him, I want to talk to him about Proposition 1. He told me, I don't stay here. I'm not Kevin DeLeon. And here it is. There's other people like the sanitation department. And Mr. Kevin DeLeon is the one that's behind him. He sent people to clean up 2 streets on Winston and San Pedro. Nobody else street get done double like that. I have no avenue to go to. If you did, say, 5th Street and San Pedro at the same time, you have chaos. Mr. Kevin DeLeon is trying to get votes to get back in.
Speaker, your time has
All right.
expired.
Thank you very much. We'll go next to our callers on the phone.
All right, excellent. So we have start off the rent escrow account program items, aka REAP. Now, I'm just curious why Daniel Guss thinks this is so successful and how it's actually holding landlords accountable. Because while the landlord can't touch rent money until they've made certain abatements, the tenants whose rights have been violated and whose lease contracts are not being upheld, they still have to pay their full amount of rent, and they never see any restitution. All they get is problems fixed that they should have never had to deal with in the first place. So Daniel Guss, I appreciate a lot of what you do, but I'm not with you on this one, because how is the landlord being held accountable when they just get their money at the end of the day anyway? I've never had a job where I could fail my end, not do my work, but then just still get everything I was owed if I recoup the things I made mistakes on in whatever amount of time. That's not really how the world works for like working folks like me or for tenants. So it just doesn't make sense, because typically when someone violates a contract, it breaks the contract, and then the other party in the contract isn't obligated to uphold their end. But when it comes to the owning class, to corporations, to landlords, then there's really no rules. It's just a little stern talking to from their buddies in the government, and then, you know, they're just told, hey, okay, now, you put it back. Okay, now here's your money after you put it back. We treat the landlords and bosses and CEOs like they're toddlers, like, you know, like 1, 2, 3, and then it's time out. And after your time out, then you can have the ice cream. We can't keep doing this. We need to say, if a landlord's not going to uphold their end of the deal,
you've used your 2 minutes on the REAP items. Please move on to another item.
I thought there was 3 REAP items, Gross.
So as announced earlier in the meeting, item number 13 has been continued and is not open for public comment. You're welcome to continue during
great.
general
so
if you'd like.
Let's talk on 16 then. I don't think it is fair to punish bystanders regarding street takeovers. I don't like cars. I'm as anti-motorist as they come, and you're not going to find me being very sympathetic to people drag racing, but that's I don't know. I just think that our city can do better, more important things with our resources and focus on getting pedestrian infrastructure and street lights and things like that, making the roads safer for people. I don't know if these tactics are really helping. So with that,
general public
working
comment.
For the city of Los Angeles is interesting. The council body claims to care, but they fail to do anything to help the people speak during meetings. But Gross says their goal is to hear as many they can, but they've been lowering the caller's hands. Correcting these violations isn't even in their plans. Then Nithya tells us everything is grand. We're so lost when I look, you're not listening. Kevin resign. Nithya Raman's a grifter, always lying. Nithya, she lies. It's so wrong when we speak, you're not listening. Paul should resign. Kevin resign. Nithya resign. All you fuckers resign. Shout out, Smoke and Scan, love you.
Morning, nerds and virgins. Brock Landers,
morning.
Los Angeles private
which
investigator.
items would you like to
All
speak
open
to?
Items.
So
General public
you have
comment.
3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
All right, the street takeovers. The Great Pander, getting pulled over for honking your horn is a violation of your First Amendment right. Watch the stalking of Miss Hernandez. It's getting a little creepy. That's one of the reasons that Damon at Smoke and Scan took away your name 50 Guns and changed it to the Great Panderer. REAP. I don't know a lot about REAP. I'm not as educated on it as I should be. I do know if award-winning journalist Daniel Guss at danielguss.substack.com is for it, I think that's a good indication. I don't know how the surgeon Daniel Guss feels about it, but since we're not talking about removing the stick from Paul or Bob's ass, I don't think it matters what a surgeon thinks. I'm basing my opinion on what Daniel Guss at danielguss.substack.com thinks. No offense, Stacy. We love you. General public comment.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
I learned something or figured something out after the last meeting. I find it amusing that you guys always say public comment is satisfied, and you don't seem to understand why the public gets upset and they feel that it's not satisfied. You guys seem confused by that. And then it hit me. It's been so long since any of you had satisfied anybody, you're confused about what it means. So maybe if you guys try harder in some other aspects of your life, you'll understand why all the people here are not satisfied with what you think is decent. So everybody have a good, safe weekend, and another shout out to Stinks and Damon and Smoking Scans, and get in here, Jason.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Which items would you like to speak to?
I heard there were some changes. Can you tell me what items are available, please, and also all available? I'm sorry, general public comment.
So the items that are open for public comment are 14 through 16 and item 23. So you have 3 minutes for those items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
All right, thank you very much. Item 14 is a REAP item. REAP is another R word. Another R word I like to describe REAP is retarded. It's retarded the social contract into oblivion. When someone doesn't uphold their end of a contract, it's broken. And usually that contract lists enforcement measures to hold both parties accountable should they violate their end of the contract. Now, when your landlord paints over power outlets and door hinges and makes windows unusable and makes the entire molding around the floor not even attached to the floor, allowing bugs all up in the apartment, you're not allowed to pay less rent. When the laundry machine stops working and they raise the price on laundry despite it being dilapidated and not working, you're not allowed to pay less rent. You're not allowed to withhold your rent. But for whatever reason, if there's a hole above your bed and shit falling through, they can just take the money that you would have paid them, put in a cute little box, and then when the landlord gets around to it, they get the money back. That's not an enforcement of a contract. Item number 16, further street takeover criminalizing. I think it's interesting how there's no effort to take care of anything in this city until somebody makes the city look bad and points at it and gets enough attention on it. How many streets have had street takeovers in neighborhoods that none of y'all give a fuck about? But the moment it starts to look bad in an area where, you know, somebody with money or wears a suit has to look at it, all of a sudden laws have to be made. How long did that Ocean View, whatever the fuck apartment building, sit there? Years, 40 stories, abandoned with graffiti before someone pointed at it during an award show for it to even get any attention? The same thing with these street takeovers. It's such bullshit. Nobody fucking cares. It's all just to make it look like you're doing something for the city while it falls apart. And the street takeovers, it's bad when somebody gets hurt. But really, what's the big deal? Well, it makes a lot of noise. Okay, no one cares about the
Speaker, you've
police
exhausted your 1 minute on this
making a bunch
item.
of noise.
You're welcome to continue on general, but please move on to another item for now.
Gotcha. All right, that's another item 15. I wonder if I went into City Hall, went behind the horseshoe, and stole Paul Krikorian's laptop with all God knows what's on it. I wonder if they would. How would that work? Do I get to just give it back later, or am I gonna face some kind of penalty? Are the police gonna fucking beat the shit out of me in front of everybody, throw me in a cell, hold me for days, and I'll have to face a judge? Or will I get to just
General public
give it
comment?
back? General public comment. Yo, MAGA Karen, listen, man, you'd like to say black this, black that, so let me talk to you in a language you understand. Chinaman, please stop demanding that we give up our rights. You are fucking bugging. You love talking all this praise about Texas and other states. You know what they're allowed to have? Their Second Amendment rights. Stop demanding they take away our rights and further police us, and start demanding that we get our gun rights back. This generation and their fucking phones. If you look at City Hall, you can see all the police up in there on their phones. I've been there in person. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to fascism, democracy, any semblance of a government order. What we need to do is stage sit-ins and small businesses getting evicted, and then maybe they can help us afterwards with our actions and protests. We need to unite with the small businesses and start taking over this city by force, because power gives up nothing without demand, and it's sure as fuck not giving up anything without a struggle. That being said, LA Valley Gun Club.
Caller, your time has expired. Next caller.
Okay, I'm going to call out a few more names. Edna Monroy, Daniel Guss, Spindler, somebody with the silly fake name Kanye West, Lucia Abad, Michael Bigsby, Nancy Villanueva, Joey Mendez, Karen Gutierrez, Maria Briones, Sofia Mendoza, Rekandal W., and Kiki.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
DanielGuss.substack.com would like to speak about both items, please.
So you have 2 minutes for the items.
DanielGuss.substack.com for identification purposes only. I'm not the author and surgeon I'm the Journalist and LA Press Club Online Journalist of the Year. Item number 24, I can solve homeless for you, just like you solve a lot of other problems in LA. Simply redefine the meaning of homelessness. What is homelessness? Just redefine it, the problem goes away. That's how this government does this. So in all of this rigmarole that we have here, where hundreds of millions of dollars are going to these government nonprofits, where we never quite see where the money's going, just declare homelessness non-existent. Say it's a birthday cake. Say it's a Toyota Corolla. Just redefine homelessness, and you've defined homelessness and you've solved it. Isn't that amazing? And I can run for city council too. So just redefine what it is. Redefine homelessness and it disappears. Just like you redefine euthanasia and you say you don't kill animals and you're one of the highest kill animal pounds in the region. Just redefine what euthanasia means, because you do that all the time. Item number 25, council members, I wrote a story several months ago about how you were deliberately hiding migrants who crossed the border in city recreation centers, including in Council District 2, the North Hollywood Recreation Center. And you had people who I interviewed firsthand from China, from Haiti, from Venezuela. And city park employees were told, and they told me that they were told by powerful people in City Hall, just say that they're homeless people. So don't give us this crap about the equity and how these rules apply against black people. You are rigging the game, and the FBI should look into how you're spending this money because you're lying about it.
Item 24.
Okay, so you have 1 minute.
My name is Joey Mendez. I am a member of ACE and Keep LA House Coalition. I live in District 9 and I am in support of tiny homes and also the proposed amendments to close loopholes in the tenant anti-harassment ordinance. Since August 2021, it has been nearly impossible to use the ordinance to stop harassment. In my experience, there was harassment which affected my brothers and sister. The harassment went as far as the manager calling child services without a cause or reason. It affected me in my school and my education. Worried we weren't going to have a roof over our heads. The manager would constantly be screaming at my mom, trying to be intimidating. There was this one time where the manager and a worker came and my folks had told them to wait because they had their hands full at the moment. Despite this, they came inside anyway. The manager walked into the bedroom where my sister was changing because she had just got out the shower.
Speaker,
Thank
your
you.
time has expired. Next speaker.
Thank you very much.
Hola, buenas tardes. Necesito traducción.
Hi, how are you? I need interpretation.
Voy a hablar en el artículo 24.
I'm going to talk about item 24.
Mi nombre es Nancy Villanueva, organizadora con ACE, y estoy con la coalición Keep LA House y apoyo el Tiny Homes.
My name is Nancy Villanueva. I'm an organizer with ACE, and I'm also part of the coalition with LA, and I also in support of tiny homes.
También apoyo firmemente las 7 enmiendas que están propuestas para cerrar los vacíos legales en la ordenanza contra el acoso. Esta es una emergencia y necesitamos el apoyo de ustedes.
I'm also in support of the 7 amendments to close all the loopholes for the harassment ordinance, and this is an emergency, and we are asking for the support of all of you.
El mensaje es dirigido específicamente para el concejal Bloomingfield y el abogado de la ciudad.
The message is specifically going to the council member Bloomingfield and the city attorney.
Deben aprobar e implementar la ley Tajo, ya que tenemos cientos de personas en la ciudad de Los Ángeles que están sufriendo acoso.
And you need to implement and approve the Tahoe Act because there are hundreds of people in LA that are going through harassment.
Siento que nos están ignorando y están ignorando a la ciudad. La gente debe de vivir tranquila y no con acoso. Así es que por favor pongan atención y implementen Tajo.
We feel that we're being ignored, and the city is being ignored, and we think that we deserve to live in peace without facing any harassment, so we need your attention.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. You have 2 minutes for the items. Please begin.
Yes, Pumpkinhead, thank you. So, here we go. The Daily Journal cites Paul Martin Krikorian as being complimented by Judge Carter.
So, okay.
Oh, you dumb shit. So
you're speaking at item 25.
How did you know?
Go ahead.
How did you know? Kevin, is the guy clairvoyant? How did he know? So, I was going to compliment you, but I'll just say fuck you. Yes, can I continue? Yes, go ahead. Well, I was going to compliment you because this is in the Daily Journal, but since you're a fucking asshole and a dirty Armenian, I'm going to say you're doing a bad
get
job.
to the agenda.
I disagree with Judge Carter. I disagree. I think you're a sneak, and I don't think you're complying with the LA Alliance settlement. But you have him fooled, don't you? Yes.
Okay, you can move on to item 24
yes,
now.
thank you, asshole. And finally, a big fuck you to Bob Bleebenblield. Tolfam Avenue. We don't want your homeless project. Get it out of there and put it back to the parking lot it used to be. And Kevin, shame on you. Closing all of those parking lots in downtown LA just to house homeless criminals? No, you don't want to do that. No. And then, of course, Marchese. No, he's not on the list. Oh, thank you, Mr. Harris Dawson, for not taking our public lands. And then, of course, who else is there? Oh, the indicted one, Current Price, is eating one of those free meals. Don't worry, Mr. Price. You don't have to eat those meals. They're going to provide.
Speak to the agenda.
Yeah, give you meals.
Speak to the agenda.
Yeah, they'll give you 3 free.
Okay,
you're
forfeiting
done.
the rest of your time. You've been warned.
Okay, we'll go to the callers now on the phone. We'll take Mr. Spindler. You're disturbing the meeting and disrupting. You're instructed to be quiet or leave the meeting. All right, let's take the first caller. We'll take 10 minutes of calls. All right, we'll proceed now to prepare the room for closed session. Mr. Spindler, please leave the chamber expeditiously. Mr. Spindler, please hurry up and leave the meeting. Councilmember Hernandez.
Yes, I just wanted all of us to give a lot of love and appreciation to Councilwoman Heather Hutt. It's her birthday today.
Yeah. And what better way to celebrate?
Been a long day.
Any other announcements, members? See none, if we could all please rise for adjourning motions. Adjourning motions on my left. Councilmember Hernandez.
Thank you, Council President. Colleagues, I would like to adjourn the meeting today in honor of the 7 World Central Kitchen workers who were killed in Gaza on Monday. Saifeddin Issam Ayad Abuta, age 25, had worked for World Central Kitchen as a driver and translator since the beginning of the year, relatives said. His brothers described him as a dedicated young man, eager to help fellow Palestinians. Lauzaumi Zomi Francom was 43. She was kind, selfless, and an outstanding human being who traveled the world helping others in their time of need, her family said. She joined World Central Kitchen after an earlier career in banking, and she provided on-the-ground aid in Pakistan and Bangladesh during floods in 2022. Damian Sobol, who's 35, was a volunteer from southeastern Poland. His friends described him as a compassionate and dedicated person committed to aid work. He also volunteered in Ukraine. Jacob Flickinger, 33, was a U.S.-Canadian citizen. Mr. Flickinger's parents told the BBC that their son loved his family and his job. The work married his talents, his love for adventure, and his desire to serve and help others. John Chapman, age 57, was a British aid worker. Mr. Chapman's family said they were devastated to have lost an incredible father, husband, son, and brother, and that he was loved by many and will forever be a hero. James Henderson, 33, was a former roofer from Britain and served for 6 years in the Royal Marines. Following his exit from the military in 2016, He had worked a series of personal security jobs before volunteering to work with WCK. James Kirby, 47. James was always willing to lend a helping hand to anyone, even in the face of senseless violence, his family said. James lost his life trying to save others. He will never know what a void he has left our family, and our family will never be the same. I ask that we hold each of them, their friends and family, and the World Central Kitchen Organization close as they grieve this terrible loss. As humanitarian workers, they dedicated themselves to providing meals and relief to thousands of people who are suffering from widespread hunger and incredible devastation. They had just finished unloading 100 tons of food at a warehouse in central Gaza when they were killed. They leave behind a legacy of love, compassion, and bravery, a reminder that our humanity is tied to one another, and a call for the global community to carry on their legacy and ensure the people of Gaza have access to food, water, and safety. May these heroes rest in the warm embrace of our ancestors, and may everyone who continues to suffer the terrors of war soon know peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Soto Martinez.
First of all, thank you, Councilmember Hernandez, for bringing this today. You know, I would like to be added to this adjourning motion. You know, I think we're all seeing what's happening in Gaza right now, and this one in particularly really touched me, and particularly because these were folks that were feeding people that were starving. And as someone who worked in the hospitality industry and grew up poor and oftentimes went to bed hungry, it really made me very sad. And so thank you for bringing this in. And you know, I hope the world hears this call and we continue to work for everlasting peace. You know, thank you.
Thank you. Any other motions for adjournment, members? All right. Seeing none, go forth and serve the city well. Have a good weekend, everyone. This meeting is adjourned.